Part 88. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 871. Lu Ligan was running from unit to unit, and Lu Chengcheng was also continuing to work. He also knew that in order to implement the entire plan smoothly, the entire land included in the planning must be expropriated according to the plan, otherwise the next step would be to expropriation will become more and more difficult, and even if the project is in progress, it may be stuck. You can't even excavate where the sewage pipes on both sides need to pass, let alone other things. Lu Chengcheng and Lu Ligan said that they had no choice but to work like this. They could only gnaw at the bones bit by bit. This shows that the old leader and the others had a hard time cleaning up and renovating the West Lake. With the efforts of Lu Chengcheng, the first batch of people to sign agreements with Lu Ligan and others were the vegetable fields on both sides of Huancheng North Road and the municipal Third People's Hospital. Then, under the pressure of the provincial government Erking and other 4 units also signed the transfer agreement, while the remaining external units were watching each other, and none of them had made a move yet. Lu Ligan went to them, and they said almost the same thing as Lu Ligan, that is, their report had been submitted, but the superior had not yet approved it. However, those rejuvenated experts and enthusiastic media did not care about this. They quickly heated up the plan to renovate Gentian River at a speed beyond Lu Ligan's imagination. It is also because Gentian River is so famous in Hangzhou. The people of Hangzhou were so impressed by it that when given the opportunity, it seemed to immediately turn red. The rapid popularity of this matter made Lu Ligan feel uneasy. He seemed to smell a scent, that is, those external units seemed to be less and less willing to transfer. Since Gentian he would be so good in the future, then why should we transfer it? Wouldn't it be better to keep it? Wouldn't it be better for us to build our own family compound next to the river? During the third coordination meeting, someone showed this intention. Lu Chengcheng finally got angry. He said, "Don't think that I don't know the xiaojuju in your heart. You just want to pick up what's already available, right? You don't want to pay anything, but you still want to enjoy the results of the Gentian River renovation. Do you have such a plan? But have you ever thought about how the rectification work will continue if you don't pay? Mayor Lu, we will give away as much land as is needed to bury sewage pipes and green both sides of the river, but why do we have to give away so much?" someone asked. Lu Chengcheng looked at him and asked, "If you give up your land, the pipes will be buried by themselves, the stone will rise by themselves, the rivers will be dredged by themselves, and the greening will be completed by themselves, right? Or should we say that the section at the door of each of your homes will be completed by itself? According to the plan, you will pay for the renovation yourself? If that is okay, you can come and sign an agreement with our office. I'm not speaking for the company. How will the investment of other companies produce returns in the end? Will it be revealed after the entire river is renovated? When it comes to your interests, you all know how to care about everything, but you are responsible for remediation and development. A company should not consider returns. Have you ever thought about it? After the renovation of the Gentian River, you are still a riverside enterprise, and you are the one who benefits the most. Now we only ask you to give up a small part of the land, and it is not free of charge. Why is it so difficult? Do you feel that you are so powerful, but our local government can't do anything to you? I, Lu Chengcheng, put my words here. If you have any opinions, speak up. If you have demands, speak loudly. Don't be arrogant or kick the ball. If any of your units obstructs the progress of the entire plan, you will be the sinners of Hangzhou. I don't care who your superior unit is, I will say this, if you can, let your leaders face the people of Hangzhou on their own. Moreover, the entire renovation project is urgent and must be carried out immediately. If the sewage interception and dredging work cannot be completed before this year's rainy season, the entire project will be delayed for more than half a year. Who of you can shoulder this responsibility? Lu Changcheng was really angry, and those people stopped talking. Lu Changcheng stared at the schematic diagram of the Gentian River Improvement Project on the wall for a while. Lu Changcheng and Lu Ligan said, "Director Lu, starting from tomorrow, we will follow this in the schematic diagram. The entire project scope is first enclosed with walls, regardless of whether the land has been expropriated or not." Lu Changcheng looked at the people in the venue and continued to tell Lu Ligan, "If any unit blocks it, you won't even be allowed to surround it with a wall. Call me, and I, Lu Changcheng, will lay the bricks myself with a brick knife. Everyone here, I have said hello to you here." Lu Ligan said, "Yes, I will arrange it right away." At the end of the meeting, Lu Ligan told Zhang Chen about the situation of the meeting. Zhang Chen sighed, "Lu Changgong really risked his life for this project, Pol, you can't make excuses even if you don't move." Lu Ligan said, "I want to move too. I want to move right away, but I can't do it. My engineering team has gone in and dug trenches to the edge of other people's fields. I can't stop and wait. There are so many people. How can I wait? I can afford it." Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan said, "There is a place where you can move first." "Where?" "Gentian Power Plant. Isn't Gentian Power Plant also in the scope of renovation? In the future, it will be the Gentian Power Plant site museum, art exhibition area and leisure area. You can start this area first. If you start construction here, it will definitely attract a lot of media. And then you must let them know that your attitude is very positive, and where you can move, you have already started to move. As for the improvement of the entire river, the reason why it has not started is not because you don't want to, but because those units are not cooperating and cannot carry out the project. In this way, you are throwing the burden to them and forcing them." "Yes, Zhang Chen, that's a good idea. I'll start immediately tomorrow." While building the wall, the Gentian power plant is moving, Lu Ligan shouted. "Also, when you build the wall, tell Lao Wan not to be afraid of conflicts. The bigger things get, the better. If things get bigger, it is equivalent to using the pressure of public opinion to reduce Lu Changcheng's pressure." Zhang Chen said. Lu Ligan stared at him. Zhang Chen cursed, "Why the hell are you looking at me?" "Yes, Zhang Chen, why do you look like a politician? Did you end up in the wrong child or in the wrong profession?" Lu Ligan asked. You," Zhang Chen cursed. The entire fence work was beyond Zhang Chen's expectation, and even more beyond Lu Ligan's expectation. It went smoothly. No one from any unit came out to stop it. Lao Wan and the others spent 4 days building a simple fence, encircling the entire project. In fact, it is easy to understand. To be honest, it is the business of the unit. If someone jumps out to obstruct it, it is not the business of the unit, but the business of the person you stepped in. You are equivalent to taking the matter of the unit. It's all on you. If Lu Changcheng comes over again, it will become a conflict between you personally and the deputy mayor of Hangzhou City. Who is so stupid as to do such a difficult thing? After the wall was built, 2 unexpected effects occurred. First, after the wall was built, the surrounding residents and pedestrians coming and going felt that the improvement of the Gentian River had really begun. This forced the pressure to start work immediately eased. Another thing is that a piece of your own land is blocked off by others with a wall. This creates a psychological feeling for people that things are finalized and the land cannot be returned. Since other people have built a wall, you can't even smash it? Maybe none of it fell, so why do you still think that the land inside the wall is yours? It's yours, and you've lost control of it. Zhejiang No. 1 and Zhejiang No. 2 also signed a transfer agreement with Lu Ligan and the others. These 2 hospitals and their parent unit Zhejiang Medical University, whether it is the expansion of schools or hospitals, the construction of family buildings, the replanning of roads, etc., or even there are too many demands on the local government for the education and daycare of the children of our employees, and we dare not make the relationship with the local government too rigid. They might as well just sell Lu Changcheng to save face and sign the agreement. Hello, me, everyone. Besides, Lu Changcheng said something right. After the Gentian River is renovated, they will still be units along the river, and they will benefit the most. Whether it is their ward, office building, or family dormitory, the windows facing the Gentian River can be opened with confidence. In the end, the coal yard of the Shanghai Railway Bureau, the ferroalloy factory of the Ministry of Metallurgy, the Joint Logistics Department of XX, and the warehouse of a Chinese enterprise were left. These awesome units, when Lu Ligan went there again, they would simply said that the person in charge was not there, Lu Chencheng's secretary Xiao Yan, and when he informed them to come to the meeting, they simply stopped coming. This is a gesture of refusal to move. Lu Ligan was anxious, but he had no choice. Although most of the land had signed agreements, Lu Ligan judged that even if sewage pipes were buried on the ground of these units, they would not have any objection, but he could not say that your entire gen after the mountains and rivers were renovated, there was still a coal yard by the river, with mountains of coal still piled high in the coal yard. The chimneys of the ferroalloy factory were still blowing thick smoke against the river. After Zhang Chen thought about it, he flew to Beijing quietly. He arrived at Sun Ho's office. Sun Ho called Huang Jianren and his wife over. Zhang Chen told them about Lu Ligan. Sun Ho saw I looked at Huang Jianren and his wife and said to them, "What do you think? Let's take care of the Pole. We owe him." Huang Jianren's wife, Xiao Huang, pointed to the ferroalloy factory and told them, "I will do this." Sun Ho gave the so-and-so Joint Logistics Department to Huang Jianren and told him, "Aren't the people in Nanjing all subordinates of your old man? This one belongs to you, and the other two belong to me." On the third day after Zhang Chen returned to Hangzhou, Xiao Yan called Lu Ligan and asked him to go there. Lu Ligan went to Lu Chencheng's office and found that the director of the ferroalloy factory was also there. Lu Changcheng and Lu Ligan said that Director Zhao came today not to talk about land expropriation, but to talk about the overall relocation. He hopes that our municipal government can help them provide a piece of land for relocation, and here, instead of expropriating their 30+ acres along the river, the entire factory's more than 150 acres of land were expropriated. Xiao Lu, this is a good thing. I was still thinking that the Gentian River has been improved, but if the big chimney by the river is still there, it will be very unpleasant. Unexpectedly, Director Zhao and his colleagues, who are so upright, first thought of this. It's something Lu Changcheng and Lu Ligan said. Thank you UN11 and RIRI Fanshu for the reward. Thank you for the monthly votes of Bustling Farce, Guang Ion Exchange Resin Ping, Lulu 6717 P11, and Book Friends 201912170332388847. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 872. Lu Ligan was finally able to call MSCAI and tell her that the transfer agreement for all the land had been signed, and an additional 120 acres had been added. This was the land of the ferroalloy factory, so the plan would be slightly modified. Great, Miss CAI said, so the building area has increased again, right? Lu Ligan was right. We have added 300,000 square meters. The most important thing is that we have added an entrance and an independent community connecting Gentian River and Jiangguo Road. Lu Ligan transferred Laotan to be responsible for the entire Gentian River project. A project headquarters was built in the Gentian power plant. Laotan and Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, worked there. They were also equipped with a motor speedboat to put in the Gentian River project. In the mountains and rivers, the construction site they want to go to will pass directly from the Gentian River. Both of them were very excited. With such a big scene and so many people on the construction site, they really felt like commanding the battle, which was much more exciting than talking about it on paper on a map. On both sides of the Gentian River, trenches with a depth of 3 meters have begun to be dug. A cement sewage pipe with a height of 1.5 meters will be buried here. This water pipe is still the director of the Yongcheng cement pipe factory. He took the wine master Lu and made a special trip to Hangzhou. Cheng came to see Lu Ligan and wanted to go on business. The cement pipe making factory is not currently profitable. The director of the factory heard that such a big project was being carried out by Lu Ligan, Lao Liu's son. He was willing to let him go, so he dragged him here. Lu Ligan himself grew up in a cement pipe factory, and he is confident in their technology and product quality. Their current poor performance is entirely because the old state-owned enterprises have too heavy a burden and cannot compete on price with the new ones. Those factories that got up. The more expensive it is, the more expensive it is. You can't deny it to your father. Lu Ligan and Director Wu of the cement pipe factory said, I won't bargain with you on the price. I will just go with your quotation. I know how to negotiate with others. Compared with other factories, your costs are much higher than theirs, but you can make the goods for me. That's for sure, Pol, this is your project. You are a son of our factory. If you can't even make the things you have here, where will we put our faces? I'm here, old Lu patted the factory director's shoulder, then patted his own chest, and shouted, you can't trust factory director Wu, and you can't trust your father. Lu Ligan smiled and said, then I still believe in Director Wu. Okay, Director Wu, then I will leave the management of our place to you. Director Wu returned happily with the order, Lao Lu, and a trunk of wine. 3 days later, old Lu came again. This time he brought the director of Yongcheng cement factory. Lu Ligan pulled old Lu aside and asked him, about the cement pipe factory, what Director Wu said. Wrong, I am their son, and you are still receiving their retirement salary, so you are willing to help at any cost. What is going on with this cement factory? Lao Lu said, in our factory, we use other people's cement, and you have used it in your pipes, so why not use the cement? Did someone come to you with wine? Lu Ligan asked. Old Lu chuckled. Did you accept the wine from others? Lu Ligan asked again. Old Lu remained silent and continued to laugh. Old comrade, I want to criticize you, Lu Ligan said to Lao Lu, if you run out of wine, buy it yourself. If you are reluctant to buy it, just call me and I will send you a car. But you must not accept wine from others casually. Okay, old comrade, you brought someone from the cement factory today, are you going to bring someone selling yellow sand again tomorrow? How did you know that someone came to see me? Lao Lu was puzzled. Lu Ligan didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and suddenly felt extremely irritable. He knew that the yellow sand seller must have brought wine with him. The old comrade also laughed and accepted it. In a few days, he would definitely bring the yellow sand seller to see him. Own. Okay, we'll talk about it later. I'll make arrangements here first. Lu Ligan said that he returned to the office. In front of the director of the cement factory, he called Lao Tan and told him that he had a fellow here who made cement. I asked him to come to you. Look. Check out their quality and prices. Lao Tan said yes. Lu Ligan told the factory director that our company is also a joint venture. I am still a small shareholder, and Shenzhen is the major shareholder. I am not the one who has the final say on many things, especially the purchase of bulk building materials. In this way, you go to our responsible person, if the quality and price are the same, he will definitely give priority to yours, I have already told him. The factory director said okay, thank you Mr. Lu. Lu Ligan drew a picture and told the factory owner where Tan was. He also wrote him his cell phone number and told him, you can go over now, he is waiting for you. The factory director was about to leave, and Lao Lu also wanted to follow. Lu Ligan held him back. Lu Ligan knew that if he left, his first sentence would be to tell Lao Tan that he was his father, which made Lao Tan what else can Tan do. After the factory director left, Lu Ligan said the same thing to Lao Lu, telling him that he was only a small shareholder in that company, and there were also major shareholders. What about your company? You have the final say in this company, right? Should I ask them to send you things here? Lao Lu asked. Lu Ligan almost cried and said, "Old comrade, you are too enthusiastic. Why do you have to help me organize these things? Isn't this an old saying that the wealth should not go to outsiders? If you have money to make, why don't you let the fellow villagers make it? Would you rather let those who don't know where they come from make it?" Lao Lu was unconvinced. "What do you mean by making money from people who don't know where they come from? All my suppliers here must go through strict screening, but you brought them and broke my system." "No, no, your statement is wrong." Old Lu waved his hands and said, "I know one thing. This is not a relative, so why should you let him take money from you? This is definitely wrong." Lu Ligan felt that this was not a drunkard. He was simply a drunkard and unreasonable. Lu Ligan said, "Old comrade, where did your son's money come from? Which relative or friend helped your son make money? According to you, do I deserve not to make any money?" Lao Lu was stunned there, and after a while he came back to his senses, and still said, "I am the other person, and you are you, and it is wrong for you to say this." Lu Ligan was a little annoyed. "Isn't this a strong statement?" Lu Ligan cursed. "What's right? As long as someone gives you a drink, you're going to take advantage of that person's shortcomings, right? In this case, I'll give you a drink too. I'll give you a drink. Please don't bring anyone to me again. Okay, what kind of wine do you want?" Lao Lu chuckled, "You still don't know what I'm drinking. Or Yang He De Ku. Okay, it's more advanced. Can we drink Wulyanjai, or Mutai?" Lu Ligan picked up the phone on the table, dialed a few numbers, and said, "Come up here." Fan Jiangguo ran up and shouted when he saw Lao Lu, "Uncle, has Lao Ju had enough to eat earlier?" Old Lu smiled and said, "Drink, drink, not much." Lu Ligan and Fan Jiangguo said, "Excuse me, please go and change cars with Lao Wan, and then drive the old comrade to buy wine. You can load as much as the car can hold until it can't be loaded. Then please help me, I'll send him back to Yongcheng." Fan Jiangguo nodded and said yes. "What kind of wine?" he asked. "Mutai or Wulyanjai, let him choose." Lu Ligan said, took out his bank card and handed it to Fan Jiangguo. Fan Jiangguo knew his card password. "Hey, uncle, stay close, Ao Shao, let's go wandering," Fan Jiangguo shouted, and Lao Lu started laughing. Lu Ligan warned, "Old comrade, before you finish drinking these drinks, please don't accept wine from others, okay? Also, don't bring anyone else to my place." "What about those relatives? They always have to take care of them," Old Lu shouted, and Lu Ligan felt like he was going crazy. Fan Jiangguo took Lao Lu away. Lao Tan called Lu Ligan and said to him, "Mr. Lu, the quality and price of your fellow cement are pretty good. How about it? Should I ask him to deliver it or what?" Lu Ligan said, "Just send it away. By the way, help me tell him that I asked Fan Jiangguo to send my father back, so he doesn't have to come to pick him up." Lao Tan said yes. Lu Ligan let out a long sigh. Fortunately, the people of Yongcheng were still up to date and the quality of the things was not bad. Otherwise, it would have been embarrassing to refuse. Lu Ligan called Zhang Chen and lamented his bitterness. Zhang Chen laughed on the phone. "You are still laughing, I am worried to death. There is such an old comrade like Zhang Liang at home. He is strategizing and winning thousands of miles away. In Yongcheng, he has arranged all my suppliers. No matter how much money he gives, he can't bear it. When buying wine, he just wants to drink it as a gift. When someone brings wine, he will be more obedient than his wife. Zhang Chen continued to smile and told him that you were pretty good. He told Lu Ligan what happened when they went to Chongqing. This time, Lu Ligan laughed. After he finished laughing, Zhang Chen cursed, "It's your own fault, you deserve it." "Why are you blaming me again?" Lu Li asked curiously. "You are still building houses, but you don't even know how to arrange for old men and women to come to Hangzhou? Look at me, how pure I am now." When Zhang Chen said this, Xiao Zhao sat on the sofa, looked at him, and kept laughing. After Zhang Chen made the call, he put it down and asked Xiao Zhao, "Why are you laughing?" "Nothing, nothing," Xiao Zhao said and walked out. Just yesterday, an old colleague called his mother and borrowed 30,000 yuan. His mother also asked Xiao Zhao not to tell Zhang Chen. "As long as you can still be contacted, can you be pure? If you want to be pure, you can only go to the moon." Xiao Zhao smiled and shook his head, leaving Zhang Chen alone and proud. Lu Ligan hung up the phone and thought that Zhang Chen's words made sense. He walked to the door and shouted, "Ying Ying." Ying Ying ran up, and Lu Ligan asked her, "Is there still a house on the first floor of Jingxiu Xiangting?" Ying Ying said, "There are 3 more units on the first floor." "Give me a set and I'll decorate it right away," Lu Ligan said. "Who wants it?" Ying Ying asked. Lu Ligan took out his ID card and wanted Ying Ying to get a real estate certificate. Thinking about it, he might as well be Lao Lu. He said, "The real estate certificate will be announced in a few days. Let Lao Wan arrange for someone to decorate it immediately. We will use Zhang Chen's parents' last drawings for decoration." Ying Ying said yes. As soon as Ying Ying walked out, the phone on Lu Ligan's desk rang. It was Fan Jiangguo. Fan Jiangguo told Lu Ligan that his father refused to buy Maotai or Wool Yanjai for any reason, and he must buy Yang He Dai Ku, the simple version. Lu Ligan sighed and said to Fan Jiangguo, "Then just listen to him. Thank you to Laughing and Running Y for the tip. Thank you to Firewood Gatherer, Yuya, and Tianying 1978 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 873. The total length of the Gentian River is 7.2 kilometers. Whether it is laying pipelines, dredging and laying stone slabs, the amount of work is huge. Lao Tan and Han Emperor Lu Bang divided the entire project into several stages. Starting from Huanchen North Road, the first step was to seal the culvert connecting the Gentian River to the Jiangnan Canal. At the downstream dam, 4 high-power water pumps worked day and night. Drainage and lower the water level of the entire Gentian River. The sewage pipes on both sides of the bank were laid down at the same time. The first kilometer was laid at a node of 1,000 meters. After the sewage on both sides of the bank was intercepted, steel pipes and sandbags were used to cut off the flow of the Gentian River. After the flow was cut off, the water pipes were still using high-power water pumps to drain the water from the inside to the outside. The river bottom of this kilometer was exposed, which was filled with years of garbage, rotten grass, and silt. The construction equipment at that time was still relatively backward, and there was no other way to carry out the dredging work. That was to rely on people to carry the garbage and silt on their shoulders, and carry the garbage and silt out of the river one by one, dustpan after dustpan, and some of it was piled on both sides. The open space on the shore will be needed for greening on both sides of the river in the future. More of it will be transported out one dump truck after another. The dredging project was too large and required too many manpower. Fortunately, the Municipal Federation of Trade Unions and the Municipal Youth League Committee promptly launched the Love Hangzhou, contribute to the improvement of Gentian River activity. Cadres and employees of government agencies, enterprises, and institutions, and students from middle schools and universities were mobilized to collectively participate in the dredging work. The provincial military region and the troops stationed in Hangzhou also carried out military-civilian joint construction activities, dispatching troops and reserve officers and soldiers to support the dredging work. There are so many units and people who come to sign up for voluntary labor. Lao Tan has to list the people on a list every day and then notify them one day in advance. From what time to what time each team will arrive at the construction site, plus between meals, we worked for 12 hours. The entire dredging work was carried out around the clock to seize the opportunity for clear weather. Lao Tan and Lu Bang, the founder of the Han Dynasty, liked to stand on the river bank late at night and look at the 1,000-meter-long construction site, illuminated by countless little suns. It was like daytime, with colorful flags flying on the construction site. At most, tens of thousands of people lined up in long lines, carrying burdens on their shoulders, going up and down the slopes. When going up, everyone had a load of mud on their shoulders. When coming down, there were 2 empty dustpans on their shoulders. People seemed more relaxed. Their steps were lighter than when they went up, but the rhythm was much faster. Some people even started to trot. Because many armies, schools, government agencies, enterprises, and institutions hold labor competitions on site. If you pick a load, you can get a ticket, and the number of votes will determine the winner. Even the secretary and mayor of Hangzhou, along with cadres from the municipal party committee and government agencies, went barefoot, rolled up their trouser legs, and picked up dustpans to participate in voluntary labor. The stone fence of Gentian River is different from other places. Because it is necessary to restore the historical original appearance of Meshi River, the stone fence is made of bluestone strips with bluestone slabs on top. It is close to Huanchen North Road. In the original vegetable field, there are several 10 stonemasons were tinkering every day, using chisels to carve out pieces of bluestone, cutting out stone strips and bluestone slabs. There are also masons who are chiseling bluestone carved railings. This is a craft job and not everyone can do it. They have to prepare it piece by piece in advance. There was smoke from the cooking sheds on both sides. More than 100 kitchen masters and helpers were preparing breakfast, lunch, dinner, and supper for the workers and those who came to participate in voluntary labor. Lu Ligan borrowed the money from the director of the staff cafeteria of Zhongchen Sanbao factory. Come here and take charge of several temporary canteens here. The old man's eyes were bloodshot all day long. When he saw Zhongchen, Lu Ligan, or Lao Tan, he kept mumbling, "I can't bear it. I can't bear it. How can I eat with so many people eating?" But he still worked conscientiously and didn't. A meal was delayed. Although the stench from the construction site was overwhelming, when it was time for dinner, everyone stood there holding disposable lunch boxes and still ate with gusto. There is also a medical station in the temporary work shed, which is also sent by various hospitals as reinforcements to prevent someone from accidentally pricking their foot, and they can be disinfected and treated immediately. Walking in the mud at the bottom of the river is impossible with any shoes, you have to go barefoot, and there is all kinds of garbage in the river. Although even glass and iron sheets are not so sharp in the mud, they are still there every day. There are still injured people. In the work shed by the river, Lao Tan ordered 200,000 pairs of bamboo dustpans. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, was stunned. Lao Tan said to him, "I guarantee that these are not enough. When this project is completed, all the dustpans will be. It's not enough to find fault. Every team that comes has to come and collect the dustpan. When they leave, they must return the dustpan. The returned dustpan needs to be rinsed with water immediately, otherwise the silt will dry up on the dustpan and the dustpan will become very heavy." In the middle, someone even broke the dustpan and had to come in to replace it. In this place alone, there are several people to manage and rinse the dustpan. The company was short of manpower, so Lu Ligan sent Wen Wen and Qian Qian over. Qian Qian was a little better. She just frowned and worked silently every day. Wenwen complained all day long, saying that she was here every day. If you stay in a place that looks like shit, people will turn into shit. Wenwen's complaint was heard by Lao Tan, who glared at her and cursed, since you were a child, the food you eat every day is made of feces. You grew up eating feces. If you don't eat feces, you still have to eat feces. She can't be this good looking. Uncle Tan, you complimented me on my beauty again. Wenwen giggled. She didn't know why. Wenwen was showing off her teeth in the company, but she was a little scared of Lao Tan. She felt that Lao Tan was like Sun Wukong, and she was like the white bone demon. As soon as she saw him, her true form was revealed, but Wenwen, and especially likes to quarrel with Lao Tan. I complimented you on how good looking you are? I complimented you on eating shit, Lao Tan scolded. I don't care, you praised me anyway. Wenwen continued to laugh playfully, but Lao Tan could only shake his head. Lao Tan pointed to a few women in the distance and said, did you see that the announcers from other TV stations have come to work voluntarily? They are not like you. They have a lot of complaints and weird things. The secretary and the mayor all went down barefoot picking mud. You are here to take care of the dustpan, such an easy job, but still so verbose. If you let me hear it again, I will let you go to this shitty place to pick shit. Wenwen flattened her mouth and stopped talking. Lu Bang, the founder of the Han dynasty, stood on the river bank and was often stunned at first sight. Seeing Lu Bang, the founder of the Han dynasty, looking confused, Lao Tan smiled proudly and said, have you seen this? What did you see? Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, asked. Lao Tan said that when the masses are mobilized, their power is infinite. Why were you defeated in the Battle of Huaihe and why did we win? It relies on the feet of the people and the rolling wheels of wheelbarrows to continuously transport all kinds of materials and resources forward, making your American trucks pale in comparison. Lu Bang, the founder of the Han dynasty, shook his head and said, in Taiwan, there is no such thing as voluntary labor. Communist Army, what do you mean by these people coming to do voluntary labor? Lao Tan smiled and said, don't you understand? It's okay if you don't understand. If you understood, the National Army would not be defeated by the Communist Army. The dredging of this 1-kilometer river has been completed, and the sewage pipes on both sides of the bank have been laid out for more than 1,000 meters. The next 1-kilometer river has been intercepted, the water has been drained, and the army of men and women has moved to the next 1,000 meters. Dozens of construction workers immediately entered the kilometer after the dredging of this section and began to build the stone hammocks on both sides of the bank. The original stone hammocks were too old, and they had to be dismantled first, and then the work of building the stone hammocks started again. Also carried out around the clock, all in order to complete as much work as possible before the rainy season. Only in this way can we ensure that the dredging and construction of the entire river can be completed this year. While the work in the river is going on, the work of demolishing buildings and leveling the land on both sides of the river is also going on simultaneously. MSCAI discussed with Lu Ligan. She said, Mr. Lu, we must not complete the renovation of the entire river and the construction of surrounding park attractions, because our real estate project will still turn both sides of the river into a large construction site, and citizens will not even go there. I can't even go to the river. To achieve this goal, all earthworks must be completed when the river regulation project is completed. All houses must be at least ±0. Their project is originally an overall project. It is best to regulate the Gentian River. By the end of the project, a large part of the house had been completed. The real estate project and the river improvement project are being carried out at the same time. The original budget of 1 billion is not enough. MSCAI said that it does not matter, Mr. Lu, funds will not be a problem. Besides, the sooner the real estate project starts, the sooner our funds will be withdrawn. which is a good deal for us. MSCAI arranged for another 300 million yuan to be transferred as a shareholder loan. In this way, while the river regulation work was underway, the detailed survey of the real estate project had already begun. Jason and Jacques, the two design companies, did not send a team respectively, but all the designers and half of the administrative staff of the two companies were involved. When I arrived in Hangzhou, I booked the entire nearby Gentian hotel. What is really happening is design and construction at the same time. At the same time that the river dredging work started, dust started flying again on the land that had just been leveled, and excavation began for some high-rise buildings. At the same time, Lu Ligan's splendid Qiantang also started construction. Lu Ligan felt a sense of confusion every day when he went from the construction site of Gentian River to the construction site of splendid Qiantang. He felt that this construction site gave people the feeling of a child playing house. In the past, the winch and machine on the construction site is the majestic feeling that the mixer would give him when he roared gone. Later, he adjusted the order. Every day, he would go to splendid Qiantang first, and then to Gentian River. As soon as he arrived at the Gentian River construction site, he felt that his whole body suddenly became excited. Several times, he looked at it, I couldn't help it, took off my shoes, rolled up my trousers, and went down to stir up the mud. At this time, Lao Tan would say to Wen Wenqian, see, this boss has to be able to drive a Mercedes-Benz and also pick up mud. You guys should learn from this. Thank you for the rewards from Laughing and Running Dal Tin Soldier, and Day Book Reading. Thank you Mu Yangs Yang for your monthly ticket. Thank you for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 874. Although the weather in Hangzhou has 4 distinct seasons, spring and autumn are really like passers-by, showing their faces for a little while and then hiding. The coldness of winter lasts until March. When I wake up, I find that the willow trees have already vomited. The buds are about to bloom, and the peach blossoms are about to bloom. Before you even have time to take off your cotton-padded clothes, suddenly, the rapeseed flowers in the fields have bloomed, and the weather has turned hot. When you take off your cotton-padded clothes, it seems like you can put on your shirt directly. It's the same in autumn. The sultry heat slowly fades away, and the cold air comes slowly and slowly. It's already October, and the weather still doesn't seem to be getting colder. Then suddenly, it rains, and you have to wear a woolen sweater. When it rains again, I quickly rummage through the cabinets and find cotton-padded down jackets. The first words everyone says when they meet are, "It's so cold." After the weather got colder, Lu Ligan finally breathed a sigh of relief. For him, what made him feel most comfortable when the weather turned colder was that one number followed another. You felt that the 8th had just passed, and why did the 9th suddenly come again? The approaching typhoons have finally begun to become less frequent. Although there have been cases of typhoons in November in history, that is history after all. If something happened every year, people would not say it was history, but would say last year, the year before, or even 3 years ago. For Lu Ligan and his Gentian River Improvement Plan, for such a huge outdoor project, the coming of every typhoon is like a disaster. Not only will the project be delayed, but the river you drained will be filled with water, and the newly dug river will be filled with water. The trenches will be filled with water, and even your work shed will be filled with water. How come there is so much water? Even if the sky is leaking, it should have finished leaking, right? You look at the raging wind and rain outside and shake your head and sigh, feeling happy for the sunny day that has arrived. Just when you sigh that it has finally passed, the next typhoon will bring more water and even crazier winds, directly blowing you away. The linoleum felt and bamboo sheets on the roof of the workshed were overturned, and the bags of cement underneath, thinking they could avoid the catastrophe, turned into cement blocks. Newly planted trees and plants on both sides of the river will be blown off by the wind, swept away by the rain, and washed into the river. After every typhoon, the entire Gentian River construction site is a disaster scene. You have to spend a lot of manpower and material resources. You try to restore it to its original state, but as soon as you restore it, the next typhoon comes again, bringing you another disaster scene. Lou Ligon feels that he has never hated typhoons as much as he does now since he was a child. It is said that the names of typhoons are provided by 14 countries and regions in the Asia-Pacific region. Each country and region provides 10 names and then uses them in order. Lou Ligon, I thought to myself, why do so many things? If I were to name it, it would be one name, from Bastard 1 to Bastard 10,000. Only the degree of bastard is different, but typhoons are all bastards, this is correct. Fortunately, these days of intensive bastards are finally over, and the dredging work is still in the final stage. Lou Ligon feels that it would be great to get out of these days of being forced by bastards. Lou Ligon drove the car and left the Gentianhe construction site, preparing to return to the company. He still walked around the entrance of Wanghu Hotel out of habit, but still did not see Lian. Although Hangzhou is not big, when you find someone, it will be magnified infinitely. Lou Ligon didn't know why he came to find Alien. What would happen if he found her? MSCAI never said too much to him. What remained in Lou Ligon's heart was her words, I didn't know my mother's pain until I became a mother. What pain does she know? Is the pain of having a child taken away from you, or the pain of crying without tears when you look at your son and politely call him auntie? How can people who have not experienced these have real feelings? When he met Alian again, Lou Ligon didn't know what else he could do besides saying hello to her and how are you now? He would never sleep with her again. Although in retrospect, those days were still sad and beautiful, Lou Ligon felt that he no longer had the ability or courage to sleep with her. He couldn't say that he would recruit her into the company, give her a stable career, or even let her appear around him. Before Miss CAI gave no more explanations and instructions, everything Lou Ligon did would be criticized. See it as a kind of coercion. What do you mean, Mr. Lou, are you going to use my privacy to blackmail me? He can't even give Alien any more money. For Alien, it's okay for you to give me money to sleep with me. But if you give me money and don't sleep with me, it will make people very suspicious. Will she follow her in turn? You and Lou Ligon don't know either. If she follows him, she will soon discover his cooperative relationship with Miss CAI. What's next? Lou Ligon didn't know what would happen. But all unknown things are potential risks for Lou Ligon and his Gentian River improvement plan. You must not touch them yourself. Every time Lou Ligon passed by the entrance of Wanghu Hotel, he warned himself not to come back again. Destiny would have its own arrangements. Just like Miss CAI said, it depends on fate. That is also their fate. It has nothing to do with you. But after telling himself not to come, Lou Ligon would come again next time. He felt like that annoying bastard typhoon that kept coming over and over again. Lou Ligon's eldest brother rang, and he picked up. It was Zhang Chen. Zhang Chen asked him where he was, and Lou Ligon said that he was on his way back. Come here, grill the lamb chops, Zhang Chen called. Lou Ligon heard the voices of He Hongmei and Xiao Zhao in the background, as well as the voices of Lao Tang, Tan Shuhen, and Ji Yiling. Lou Ligon said yes and would be there immediately. When Lou Lepole arrived, he saw Lao Tan and Han Jiaozulu Bang also arriving. Although the weather was a little cold, Zhang Chen and the others still put the table outside and put the two tables together. Lou Ligon walked over and just sat down when old Tang stuffed a bunch of lamb kidneys into his hand. He Hongmei said, eat, eat. I'm treating you today, and it won't be included in the 100 meals. The 100 meals later went through several twists and turns, and now they have returned more than 80 times. Lou Ligon and He Hongmei said, Sichuan girl, These 100 meals to me are like the mountains in front of Yu Gong's house. Are there endless descendants? He Hongmei said yes, I am saving food for my granddaughter now, please remember it carefully. He Hongmei actually took the initiative to say that it would not be included in the 100 meals today. Lu Ligan suddenly became suspicious. He took the lamb kidneys in his hand and asked, is such a big good thing a scam? He Hongmei and Xiao Zhao laughed wildly, and Tan Shuhen cursed, the only trick is to cheat you out of a meal. What are you afraid of? Someone will poison you, don't worry, you don't deserve poison from anyone here. Lu Ligan chuckled. Old Tang and Lu Ligan said, today is a happy event for He Hongmei. Why, God opened your eyes, someone married her, Lu Ligan asked. Old Tang shook his head, I think it is more worthy of celebration than someone marrying her. Lao Tan and Han Jiaozulu Bang came later, and they didn't know the situation. They looked at He Hongmei, then at Lao Tang and Zhang Chen. He Hongmei smiled and didn't say anything herself. Zhang Chen said it for her. He asked Lu Ligan, do you still remember the movie script from last year? For international friends, which costume did you make? Zhang Chen nodded and said yes, the costumes designed by He Hongmei, Shino Harada told me today, have won one of the 4 nominees for the best costume design at this year's Kyoto Film Festival. Shino Harada and his company invited He Hongmei to participate in this movie. The festival's award ceremony and the final list of winners will be announced at the award ceremony. Really, that's great, Lu Ligan raised his wine glass and said to He Hongmei, Sichuan girl, I must wish you the award in advance, and I believe you will definitely win the award. He Hongmei also raised her wine glass, clinked it with Lu Lapole, and said thank you. Xiao Zhao looked at them and laughed. Lu Ligan finished his drink and asked Xiao Zhao, why are you laughing? It's really rare that you two are so serious, Xiao Zhao said, and everyone laughed. Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han dynasty, said, that is an internationally famous film festival. Ho Xiaoxian and Yang Dichang have both attended it. Come on, Miss He, I want to congratulate you too. Together Lao Tan also raised his glass. After the 3 of them finished drinking, Zhang Chen said, Shino Harada also said that it is the first time for a Chinese to be nominated for fashion design. If he wins the award, it will definitely be sensational news. Foreigners have always believed that, things like fashion design are insulated from us Chinese. That's great. Do I, Lu Ligan, also know an international celebrity? Come on, Sichuan girl, then I want to flatter you and sign 100 autographs for me later. Lu Ligan raised his glass again and said to He Hongmei. He Hongmei cursed go away, but still drank to Lu Ligan. He Hongmei finished the glass, filled it up, raised it, and said to Zhang Chen, thank you, master. Old Tang clapped his hands and shouted, you want to drink this wine, Zhang Chen? Zhang Chen picked up the cup, clinked it with He Hongmei, and drank it all in one gulp. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao sent He Hongmei to the airport. When Xiao Zhao saw He Hongmei's sex, she seemed to have something to say to Zhang Chen, so Xiao Zhao excused herself to the bathroom and walked away. He Hongmei asked Zhang Chen, Master, why is it only my name this time, not yours? Zhang Chen smiled and said, it was originally designed by you, of course it was you. No, Shino Harada told me. He said it was you who suggested it, right? Yes, what I proposed is just a fact, Zhang Chen said. But I think it's unfair. Obviously, the entire design concept is yours, and you should be on the list. You want to embarrass me to death? What's the use of ideas? Ideas are ideas. I share so many ideas with people every day. I told you, and also told Ge Ling and others, why, all the clothes are considered to be designed by me. Be confident. One thing, if you have this ability, you will do well without me. He Hongmei shook her head, she said no, master, there were so many revisions, You put forward the revision suggestions, and I did it again. Zhang Chen laughed. What's the matter? I want to take over this business. By the way, Harada Shino and I also said that my role is at best that of an instructor. Didn't you graduate from university? You don't know what the instructor should be like. None of them are like you, Master He Hongmei said. You are my real master. Yes, I am your master. You have worked for me for so long in vain. It's time to leave the profession, Zhang Chen said. I don't allow you to say that. Zhang Chen asked curiously, what did I say? Working for nothing, etc. I am very happy to be with you, and I am happy to do whatever I do. We are also glad that you are with us, He Hongmei, Zhang Chen said. Thank you for the tip from the third one from top to bottom, 131, on the shore. Thank you and book friend 201901042017583118 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the reading and votes. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 875. The next night, after dinner, Zhang Chen's office was crowded with people. Xiao Zhao, Lao Tang, Lu Ligan, Wen Wen, and Jian Qian, Lao Tan and Han Jiaozi Lu Bang, Huo, Ji Yiling, and their designers. Many people from the center, including Su Wenhui from Hangcheng Daily, are also here with a colleague. Even Tan Shuhen has Xiao Wan watching her in the store tonight, and she herself is also in Zhang Chen's office. Thousands of miles away, tonight, at this moment, in Tokyo, Japan, the award ceremony of the 8th Kyoto Film Festival will be held. Information at that time was very underdeveloped. Whether it was TV, radio, or newspapers, the news was lagging behind. If they wanted to get first-hand information, they could only wait for He Hongmei to call from Tokyo. Zhang Chen's eldest brother and Xiao Zhao's eldest brother were placed on Zhang Chen's desk, next to the landline phone in Zhang Chen's office. They knew that He Hongmei would definitely call, but they didn't know which number she would call. Everyone held their breath and stared at the phone on the table. There were so many people in the office, but no one spoke. The only sound of people breathing could be heard. Time passed minute by minute, and after 7 o'clock, Lu Ligan broke the silence and cursed, "Why didn't the Sichuan girl call me?" Old Tang said, "It's still early, didn't he say it wouldn't start until 8 o'clock? Brother, it's 8 o'clock Tokyo time, 1 hour earlier than Beijing time, and it has started now," Lu Ligan said. Old Tang said, "Oh," but he immediately shouted, "No, no, Pole, Tokyo is an hour ahead of us, so it shouldn't be just after 6 o'clock now, it won't start until our 9 o'clock. At that moment, there was a quarrel in the office. Some people thought that Old Tang's statement was correct, while others thought that Lu Ligan's statement was correct. Brother Lu, tell me, according to your Taiwan calculation, how should it be calculated?" Wen Wen shouted. "Taiwan is also Beijing time, pig, you might as well ask him how to calculate it according to his Han Dynasty time," Lu Ligan scolded. Wen Wen was not convinced and continued to ask, "Brother Lu, do you also call it Beijing time?" Lu Bang, the emperor of the Han Dynasty, scratched his head and said, "We don't call it Beijing time, we call it Taipei time, but the time is the same as that in mainland China. There is no time difference. I really don't know what time it is in Tokyo now." Lu Ligan looked at Wen Wen, and Wen Wen shouted, "Did you hear that? You are wrong, they don't call it Beijing time, they call it Taipei time, pig." Everyone laughed. Wen Wen stopped worrying about time and turned to calling. Lu Ligan really couldn't stand up anymore. This Wen Wen seemed to be a master of sophistry. With such a commotion, the tense atmosphere just disappeared immediately, and time passed quickly. It was so noisy that no one even knew that the phone on the table was ringing. It was Tan Shuhen who shouted, "The call is coming." Everyone was quiet for a moment. Sure enough, the phone ringing rose from the silence. It was Xiao Zhao's phone. Xiao Zhao ran over and turned on the phone. While turning on the phone, she pressed the hands-free button. "Hey, is it Hongmei?" There were sobs on the phone, and Hongmei said, "Sister Xiao Zhao, it's me, I won the prize." People in the office suddenly cheered. Su Wenhui rushed over, took the phone from Xiao Zhao's hand, and asked, "Ms. He, this is Su Wenhui from Hangzhou newspaper. First of all, I congratulate you on winning the award. Next, let me ask you what you want to say most right now." Hongmei smiled and said, "Hello, Su Wenhui, you ask me so formally, and I still don't feel comfortable with it. What do you want to say the most?" "What I want to say the most has already been said on the stage. Thank you, my master. Thank you, Sister Xiao Zhao, thank you to my many good friends in Hangzhou and my partners in the company. Okay, Miss He, what do you want to say to the people of Hangzhou?" "You still want to talk to the people of Hangzhou, Su Wenhui? If you want it, I am the Hangzhou newspaper. Of course I will ask you on behalf of the people of Hangzhou. Then thank you, Hangzhou, and the people of Hangzhou. I like Hangzhou very much. I studied and worked in Hangzhou in college. Hangzhou is my second hometown." As Hongmei was talking, someone beside him said something to Hongmei in Japanese, and then Zhang Chen heard Harada Shino's voice saying, "I'm sorry, Miss He asked you to come over and take a photo together." Hongmei said, Sorry, I borrowed someone else's phone number to make the call. They asked me to come over. Goodbye Sister Xiao Zhao, goodbye Master." The call was cut off immediately, and Lu Ligan cursed, "Su Wenhui, damn you, you alone occupied the phone, and the others didn't say a word." Su Wenhui smiled and said, "I don't care, this is exclusive to me, nationwide. By the way, do any of you have photos of Hongmei?" Xiao Zhao said, "I do, but at home." Ji Ling shouted, "Sister Hongmei has it on her workbench. Quickly, go get it and lend it to me." Su Wenhui shouted. Ji Ling looked at Zhang Chen nodded. Ji Ling ran out immediately and came back after a while, holding a frame in her hand. Su Wenhui couldn't even wait to take the photo out of the frame, holding it frame, and left with his colleagues. Lu Ligan clapped his hands and shouted, let's go, and have a celebration banquet without the protagonist." Wen Wen asked, "Does it count in that 100 meals?" Old Tang laughed, "Okay, this is a good suggestion." Early the next morning, the front page of Hangcheng Daily published the news that Hongmei had won the award. The title was "Chinese Designer Won the Best Costume Design Award at the Kyoto Film Festival." Exclusive interview with our reporter below. Log out. He saw the photo on Hongmei's workbench. Su Wenhui's report and photos were quickly reprinted by many media. Because Ban Mutian and Zhang Chen were mentioned in the report, many reporters called Zhang Chen. At that time, there were very few people who won awards abroad. The relevant departments also felt that the news of winning awards abroad could particularly boost the ambitions of the Chinese people. Therefore, Hongmei won the award at the Kyoto Film Festival, especially when no one had ever won the award. The fashion design award that comes to mind soon became a hot topic. The next day's Xinwen Lianbo also broadcast the news in the last briefing of domestic news. Unfortunately, from the TV, you can see the footage of Hongmei accepting the award and delivering a speech, but there is no sound, only the voiceover of the CCTV announcer. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao went to work. When they arrived at the door, many reporters came to know about Hongmei's situation. Some reporters asked, "Mr. Zhang, in addition to thanking you on TV, she also thanks Sister Xiao Zhao. And those old masters from Ban Mutian, who is the Xiao Zhao? And what happened to those old masters?" Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao looked at each other, and Xiao Zhao smiled and said, "I am Xiao Zhao." Zhang Chen led them to the design center, looked at He Hongmei's workbench, took photos, and returned to the office to tell the reporters about the old masters. Only then did the reporters suddenly realize that there were other things behind the clothes. Such a story. By the way, you just said you saw it on TV. What TV? Zhang Chen asked one of the reporters. He thought he had also seen that clip. There was obviously no sound. Can you read lips? Even if you can read lips, you can't read so much content from those 2 or 3 seconds of footage. Mr. Zhang, you don't know, asked another reporter. Last night, CCTV 6 Chinese culture reports covered the Kyoto Film Festival in a very long way. The entire process of Miss He receiving the award and delivering her speech was shown. Zhang Chen understood. It turned out to be this. No wonder so many reporters came today. After Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao answered some questions about He Hongmei, the reporters left and went to the Silk Technology College where He Hongmei once studied to interview her teachers. After the reporters left, Xiao Zhao said angrily, "We didn't know there would be this program on CCTV 6 yesterday, and we didn't even see it." Tan Shahen walked in. When she heard this, she smiled and said, "I was just about to ask you if you wanted to see it, but seeing so many reporters here, I didn't come in." "Do you have this?" Xiao Zhao asked anxiously. Tan Shahen nodded and said, "I recorded it last night." Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao quickly got up and followed Tan Shahen to her room. There were many videotapes next to the TV cabinet in Tan Shahen's room. Zhang Chen took a look and saw that they were various opera programs she had recorded, especially various types of operas. Stealing immortal grass, it seems that she is still thinking about the performance when she is alone. Tan Shahen turned on the TV, then turned on the power of the video recorder, and stuffed a videotape into it. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao saw the scene of He Hongmei receiving the award. He Hongmei came to the stage, raised the trophy in her hand, and talked to the audience below. "First of all, I would like to thank my parents and family. Here, I would also like to thank one person in particular, that is my master Zhang Chen. Originally, he should be here today. I would also like to thank Sister Xiao Zhao. I would like to thank China Hangcheng Benmuishan Company for the master craftsman who made this batch of clothing. It is their every stitch that makes my imagination possible. Thank them." Also, Tan Shahen smiled and said, "Did you see that? I didn't expect that this He Hongmei would speak very well when she got to the stage." Xiao Zhao also nodded and smiled. Zhang Chen was surprised and asked, "Tan Shahen, why did you think of recording this?" "Idiot, of course I want to put it in the store. He Hongmei is not from our company. Do we have a lot of clothes designed by her in our store? Put this in the store. What else is more attractive than this? Which one will be more helpful to our brand and sales? Zhang Chen, I suggest you send this to all half-acre field stores across the country." "Yes, Sister Shahen's suggestion is very good," Xiao Zhao agreed. Zhang Chen also felt that Tan Shahen's proposal was very good, and he would do it right away, but he still had a question in his mind, that is, how did Tan Shahen know that there would be this program on CCTV 6 last night? And he even came back to record it? If he hadn't paid special attention to this matter, he probably wouldn't have known about it, right? Zhang Chen thought about it and suddenly understood that Tan Shahen must have been waiting for this day for a long time. If she didn't wait, if her friends around her got it, she would naturally pay attention to it. Zhang Chen felt a little sad when he thought about this. Yes, Tan Shahen should have had such an opportunity. Thank you Yuengzi for the tip. Thank you Lu and Lao Chantang for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you a nice weekend. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 876. After He Hungmei came back from Japan, many reporters followed her, as well as many film and TV series producers, who all came to discuss cooperation with He Hungmei. Zhang Chen and He Hungmei had a serious exchange. Zhang Chen told her that you should have your own career. While you are now in the limelight, you should start your own studio and purchase clothes at Sijiking. That was your parents' and family's business. Here at the design center you were helping, now you need to have your own business. You must know that fame is a thing. If you polish it from time to time and don't make good use of it, it will disappear over time. As a fashion designer, you have no other choice and must live in the spotlight, in this world. There is no fashion industry that can only survive under the spotlight. What about you? Why don't you live under the spotlight? He Hungmei asked. Zhang Chen said with a smile, I am different from you. My main business is not design, but running a business. Design is just my initial means of making a living, but you are not. You want to make design a lifelong thing, and you need to do it now. Your own studio is also your own company. No designer can succeed alone, you must have a team of your own. He Hungmei snorted, looked at Zhang Chen, and asked suspiciously, are you trying to drive me away? How is it possible? Now that you are here with me, you can bring fame and benefits to our brand. Ask Xiao Zhao or Tan Shahen how much our sales have increased due to the effect of your winning the award. I don't have to pay. Your salary, the biggest advantage in the world, has been taken away by me. How could I possibly drive you away? But I can't exploit you for the rest of my life. Just like I told you at the airport that day, it's true that I am your master, but it's time for you to become a master now. Zhang Chen paused and continued. Besides, if you don't work here, you won't call me master. If you encounter any difficulties in design, won't you come to me? Are we not friends? You can come here at any time, and there are still people who don't welcome you. I am telling you this to remind you that you need to clearly position yourself. With your own studio, your positioning will be clear, indicating that your own career has begun. Then, even if you are still here every day, it's okay, but your identity is different. You are an independent individual with your own career. In the past few years, I have asked you to officially join the company, but you have always refused. Do you just want to maintain your own independent identity? Being independent alone is not enough, you also need to have your own independent career. A successful career is the guarantee for your independence. By the way, among the designers, pattern makers, and sample workers in the design center, you can take away whoever you like. In particular, you need to train a pattern maker and pattern worker who can understand your ideas. For it's still not easy for designers. Master, can you let me think about it? He Hungmei said. You can think about it, but it can't take too long. I'll give you a week. You need to strike while the iron is hot, Zhang Chen said. Xiao Zhao and Lu Ligan agreed with Zhang Chen's opinion. Lu Ligan said, Sichuan girl, how about I, splendid Jiangnan, give you the lowest price in history? 30% off. Xiao Zhao smiled and said, we will pay for the 30% discount. Hungmei has helped us a lot in the past 2 years, so it should be. He Hungmei got angry and shouted, are you collectively trying to drive me away? Zhang Chen had a phone call with He Hungmei's father. He Hungmei's parents and He Dongmei agreed with Zhang Chen's idea. The three of them immediately flew from Chongqing to Hangzhou. He Dongmei said that Sijiking was in stock. If not, I would fly over in a week. It'll be over soon, Yao Mei, don't worry about this, just go do your own thing. He Hungmei's father also said to He Hungmei, which parent doesn't want his daughter to surpass him? I believe your career can be bigger than your parents'. How can we use our small business to tie you up and let you can't develop your own career? Her mother also said that we are uneducated, so we go to the market to set up stalls. In fact, no one knows the hardships of setting up stalls in the market. Therefore, when you go to college, your parents will fully support you. Your sister wants to open a specialty store. We also fully support. Why? Just to prevent you from ending up like us, still setting up stalls in the market and listening to your master." A large group of people fought, and Hongmei was finally explained. His father and Lu Ligan said, "Thank you, but you will give us whatever discounts other people get on your house." Hongmei is a very high-spirited girl. If she compares if someone else offers something cheaper, she will definitely not want it. His mother told Xiao Zhao that her father was right, we would pay for the house, otherwise, Hongmei would definitely not want the baby. Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Stop talking and don't go to splendid Jiangnan, it is not suitable for a studio." "What, Zhang Chen? My place is the best office building in Hangzhou. Are you saying it's not suitable for a studio?" Lu Ligan shouted. Hongmei's parents and Dongmei didn't understand either. They also felt that Lu Ligan's building was very high-end. If they wanted to buy it for Hongmei, of course it would be the most high-end building in Hangzhou. Zhang Chen said, "Well, let me design it tonight and let Hongmei choose it tomorrow, okay?" The next day a group of people gathered together again, and Hongmei also came. Zhang Chen took out a rendering of his own design. Hongmei took a breath when she saw it. Zhang Chen designed an all-glass, completely transparent house. It would be so beautiful to use such a house as a studio. Even Hongmei's parents and Dongmei think this is better than an office building. "Dad," he said, "then we need to find a piece of land and build it." Xiao Zhao said, "We can just create a space on the roof of the building from the garden." Zhang Chen shook his head. He looked at Lu Ligan and said, "You will be needed now. This house will be built in the yard of your Gentian power plant, by the Meisi River." As soon as Zhang Chen said this, everyone's eyes lit up, and Zhang Chen continued. "The Gentian power plant will be the Gentian power plant site museum in the future, but that is just the original generator room. There are still so many empty factories inside. It cannot be demolished, but it can be developed for protection. Then it can be transformed into an art exhibition area and given to free of charge. Those very talented young people provide an exhibition venue and a leisure area where you can eat, drink coffee and tea. That pier can be used as a cruise ship pier on the Meisi River. Is it the most suitable place to put this building? It will also become an attraction in the Gentian power plant." Everyone nodded and the matter was settled. Inside the Gentian power plant, Lao Wan and the others were already undergoing renovations. Lu Ligan quickly called Lao Wan over. Zhang Chen handed him the design drawings and told him that the original design would also need to be slightly modified. This glass house was built in the yard of Gentian power plant, right next to the pier. It was originally the coal yard of the power plant. The coal needed for power generation was transported through the Jiangnan Canal and Gentian River and was piled here. There was an empty house next to it, which was the coal preparation workshop of the power plant. Those huge stone coal must be rolled here into uniformly sized particles so that it can be fully burned in the boiler. Now all the coal rolling machines in the house have been evacuated and put on display in the generator room, leaving only an empty shell ready for art display. Zhang Chen said that this glass house was built next to the coal preparation workshop. A small door was opened between the two houses. More than 100 square meters were allocated in the coal preparation workshop to be renovated and decorated for Hongmei to live in and do design work. Yes, it's often late at night, so it's inconvenient to run back and forth, but it's also inconvenient to live in a glass house. After hearing this, everyone agreed. "Dad," he said, "you, the master, think more carefully than I, the father." Zhang Chen smiled and said, "Uncle, that's because I am also a designer myself and know what designers need." Hongmei was listening on the side, her face flushed slightly. The two-story glass house, which covers more than 400 square meters, plus the renovation and decoration of more than 100 square meters, was completed in less than a month. When the glass house was completed, it attracted a lot of people and the newspapers were full of news. Reports were made, and it was specifically stated that this was the first project completed in the Gentian River renovation plan, and that this would later be the studio of internationally renowned designer He Hongmei. After the news was released, it attracted many citizens to watch and take photos. The entire Gentian power plant has not yet been renovated, but it has become famous in Hangzhou. Everyone knows that there will be a Gentian power plant site museum there, and the famous designer He Hongmei will be there. The studio has an art exhibition area and a leisure area. Many people came to negotiate with Lu Ligan, hoping to rent houses in the leisure area to open Western restaurants, tea restaurants, and small restaurants. Of course, there are also cafes, tea houses, and cake rooms. The houses in the leisure area were quickly rented out, He Hongmei said with a smile. It seems that I will be able to eat well in the future, and I won't need to go outside anymore. There were many artists and students from the Academy of Fine Arts who came to discuss the exhibition. Old Tang grabbed Lu Ligan and said to him, "Pole, I don't care, the first exhibition must be my Old Tang's Prince exhibition. You don't make t-shirts, why do you do printmaking?" Lu Ligan said. Yes, I've been doing it all the time, Pole. Don't you know that I am an artist who is distracted by t-shirts? Lu Ligan looked at Old Tang and said to him, "I know you are a fat man who is not put off by meat, so you should go to the show and eat meat." Okay, that's the exhibition of Lao Tang's Prince and Performance Art." Lao Tang laughed. He Hongmei asked Zhang Chen for a pattern maker and a sample worker. She turned around and said to Lu Ligan, "My master has given me 2, and you have to give me 1 as well." "No." Lu Ligan asked, "Who do you want?" He Hongmei said, "I originally wanted Ying Ying, but I was afraid you would cry. Forget it, I settled for the next best thing and gave Wen Wen to me." "What do you want her for?" "I don't care at night, but during the day, I want her to be my manager." Lu Ligan laughed. She was the only one, could she be the manager? That heartless person, she can sell herself, make money for others, and then take you out. He Hongmei scolded, "Don't look down on people so much, I think she can do it." "Then you go talk to her yourself." "If she agrees, I have no objection," Lu Ligan said. He Hongmei went to Wen Wen and told her about the matter. Wen Wen asked if she worked in that glass house. He Hongmei said yes. "Will we be able to see those directors and stars more often in the future?" Wen Wen then asked. "Yes, you will often deal with them in your future work." "Then I'll go," Wen Wen said. As Wen Wen said that, Qian looked at He Hongmei pitifully and said, "Sister, why don't you take me away with you?" "That's right, take her with you and let's escape victoriously together," Wen Wen also called. He Hongmei said, "Okay, then you will be my model and assistant." He Hongmei went to tell Lu Ligan that I had changed my mind. I wanted not just one, but Wen Wen and Qian. When Lu Ligan heard this, he felt a little reluctant and cursed, "Sichuan girl, are you trying to make me become a loner?" The second-rate guy yelled from the side, "That's enough. You've been using them for so long, you've been forced to raise them. Just go find 2 more. He Hongmei's studio was completed. Congratulations to her father, mother, and He Dongmei. They flew over from Chongqing to attend the ceremony of the establishment of her studio. On this day, many directors and actors also came to participate. Suddenly, Gentian celebrities gathered at the power plant. Lu Chengcheng happily accepted the invitation, and together with the well-known 5th-generation director and Imamura Shahei, the director of He Hongmei's award-winning film who came specially from Japan, they cut the ribbon for the studio. He's father and mother were almost crying when they saw so many people coming to the scene. They felt that this Yaomei had grown wings as she grew longer, and now she can fly. Thank you UN11, Wawa Tin Soldier, and RIRI Fan Shu for the rewards. Thank you Tiger for your monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Happy Saturday everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 877. At the end of December, Mr. Chiao and his company held an annual meeting in Zhuhai. The annual meeting invited many of their company's important customers to participate. The written word was called joining in the grand event. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping were both their important customers and partners. Of course, attendance is a must. The annual meeting itself was boring, but after only half a day, Mr. Chiao came on stage and made a report, talked about a lot of data, expressed his gratitude to customers for their support, and then commended a few outstanding employees and so on. You must know that Mr. Chiao and his clients are all reputable people. It is of course impossible to call them from all over the country to just attend such a meeting and then listen to you verbally express a few words of thanks. There is a reason why the meeting was not held in Shenzhen, where their company is located, but moved to Zhuhai. After the afternoon meeting, without even having dinner, Mr. Chiao handed over the remaining matters to the vice president, and he took 2 vans of people to Macau. They stayed at a hotel in a casino in Macau and had dinner together. Mr. Chiao gave each guest 100,000 Macau patakas in chips, and then told them, "I will disappear next, everyone can do whatever they want." The day after tomorrow at 5 p.m., gathered in the lobby of the hotel, and we returned to Zhuhai for dinner. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan had never been to a casino before. They had only seen it in movies and TV. They felt fresh and curious. They walked through a thickly carpeted passage from the hotel lobby and were still attracted by the scene in front of them. Startled, they saw a brightly lit hall inside. The first thing that caught their eyes was the rows and rows of hundreds of video game-like machines. There were lights on the top of each machine, and there were people sitting in front of the machines. The entire hall was filled with simple but cheerful music. From time to time, you could hear the sound of a machine spitting out coins, as well as people's cheers. The screen hanging above the hall flashes a long series of numbers in turn. This is the prize money in the jackpot. If you are lucky enough to hit it, this long series of numbers will be yours. There is a story published in many newspapers and magazines. Both Meng Ping and Lu Ligan have read it. It is said that in Las Vegas, a poor female international student did not even have money for tomorrow's meal in her pocket. She passed by the casino. At that time, she decided to try her luck with the last few coins in her pocket. When she sat in front of a slot machine, put coins in and pulled the handle, an alarm suddenly sounded in the hall. All the slot machines stopped, and 2 burly guys walked towards the female international student. The female international student was frightened. It was broken. She thought she had broken the equipment in the casino, so she quickly waved her hands and shouted, "It's not me, it's not me, I didn't do anything." Then the owner of the casino appeared and told her that it was not her who broke the machine, but that she blew up the machine and won the more than $10 million in the jackpot. Everyone around burst into thunderous cheers and applause. The poor female international student became a multi-millionaire in an instant. This is another version of the story of the ugly duckling turning into a swan. The story is very childish. Lu Ligan feels that it must have been made up by some boring and foot-picking guys like those who compiled the novels of Schwemili. But the story that is made up is it has the power to touch people's hearts, and everyone is happy to spread it, including those who come to this hall. Who doesn't want to be the protagonist in that boring story? No one believes in myths, but they always hope that myths will happen to them. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan were both thinking, what the hell is so funny about this? How could Lao Chiao bring them to this damn place with such a childish thing? But since they were here, the 2 of them still wanted to give it a try and found 2 adjacent slot machines and sat down. As soon as they sat down, a waiter came over and asked if you could help. Meng Ping asked how this thing worked, and the waiter told them how it worked, and then asked how to change the coins. The waiter told them that you can go to the counter to change it yourself, or if you feel comfortable, I can change it for you. Lu Ligan gave him the 100,000 chips. The waiter smiled and said, "You won't need so many." He took out a 500 coin from it, and also took out a 500 coin from Mengping, and walked away. When he came back, he brought a bunch of coins to each of them and wished them a happy game. Then left. Lu Ligan and Mengping looked at each other and smiled. "Damn it, you can't play with 100,000 chips even if your hands are cramped." Immediately, another waiter came over with drinks and drinks. Each of the two ordered a glass of 7-Up and started playing. Lu Ligan was overjoyed when he heard the sound of coins being spit out at the first press. When he saw the button with the maximum bet, he pressed it and said to Mengping, "Hurry up, press this button." Mengping smiled and said, "I have already used it, but only 3 times." The two continued to play. As the lights on the machine flashed, the machine repeatedly made a monotonous sound like a video game. The person seemed to have entered a hypnotic state. The blood in the body was speeding up, but the body was numb and sluggish, and the urine was very heavy. I was so anxious that I couldn't bear to stand up and leave. I told myself that I would go after playing this game. After countless coins passed, people were still sitting there, and they still felt that they could hear the sound of coins being spit out from time to time. They were lucky, but in fact they spent more and more time calling the waiter to help change coins, and the chips are getting smaller and smaller. When Lu Ligan finally couldn't hold on anymore and stood up to go to the bathroom, he discovered that more than half of his chips had been lost, and he and Mengping had been sitting in front of this broken machine for more than 3 hours, and their hands were still there. It really feels like a cramp. Lu Ligan almost ran back all the way. He looked at Mengping. Mengping lost almost as much as him. Lu Ligan said, "Damn, these things look like 3 at a time, and they lose very quickly." Mengping said angrily, "After losing, he pulled him down, and after losing, he went back to his room to sleep." Even the waiter found it strange that it was rare to see someone sitting in front of a slot machine for more than 6 hours. How did he know that it wasn't that they were willing to sit here for more than 6 hours, but that they didn't know what other projects there were in this casino? As soon as they entered, they were attracted by this simple and childish thing. Later, instead of betting against the machine, I was betting against myself. I don't believe that after I lose all the chips, the big prize won't come out yet. The two of them even connected this with their own destiny, rising to the level of philosophy, feeling that this game can soul, and the trajectory of my own life is the same. I have to keep walking. Only when I reach the end of the road, will there be a bright future. Mengping said with a smile, "Believe it or not, when I throw in the last coin, the machine will explode." Lu Ligan shook his head and said, "I don't believe it, because when I hit the penultimate coin, it will explode and all the bonus will be mine. You have no chance." Mengping laughed. As time passed, they all felt that they had figured out the rules of the machine, and the big prize was about to come out soon. But until Lu Ligan used up all the coins and chips, the miracle did not happen. Mengping gave half of his coins to Lu Ligan. The two of them used up all the coins, but the miracle did not happen. What a pity, damn it, I even touched the smooth and delicate arms of Miracle, how come the coins are gone? The two of them stood up. Only then did Mengping realize that his lower body was about to explode. He quickly ran to the bathroom. He stood in front of the urinal for the longest time in his life to urinate. When he came out, he saw Lu Ligan. I stood there laughing and told him that we are just two humming idiots and there are a lot of fun things over there. We just played this childish thing all night. Lu Ligan said and took a stack of chips to Mengping. Mengping's eyes lit up and he shouted, "Where did it come from? Haven't we finished playing? Have you met Lao Chiao?" Lu Ligan smiled and said, "We have run out of chips, but we are not done yet. I just exchanged 200,000 yuan, and you can pay RMB here." "Oh, that waiter didn't tell us." Go, go, My machine is about to explode. Meng Ping yelled and wanted to run to the slot machine he had played before. Lu Lapole stopped him and told him that this is a pediatrician. Go over there and it will be exciting. The two people went to a hall adjacent to this hall. That hall was quieter than the slot machine hall. There were not so many electronic speakers and there seemed to be fewer people. There were blackjack, roulette, and baccarat. After the two people walked around in a circle, they sat down at a baccarat table and quickly lost all the chips in their hands. When they came out to exchange chips, the lady at the cashier asked them, "Sir, do you need to go to the VIP room?" "What do you mean?" Lu Ligan asked. "Sir, our VIP room is on the second floor. It is relatively quiet there. There is a card table in each room. Those who are playing are all our VIP guests." When she said this, Meng Ping and Lu Ligan felt that it was really noisy down there, and it was because it was too noisy that it affected their performance. Otherwise, how could they not be able to defeat those pig-like guys? Without saying a word, the two of them exchanged 1,000,000 chips and went to the VIP room. To become a VIP, you need to register your identity information. After registering your identity information, like a bank, you will be given a credit limit here, which is the credit limit. You can use this credit limit if you lose all your chips and don't want to interrupt the game. Then there were two beauties who accompanied them 24 hours a day. One of the beauties first asked them if they were hungry and if they needed to eat something first. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan felt really hungry now. The four of them went to the restaurant to eat together, and then went to a private room on the second floor. In the casino, there is a constant flow of people 24 hours a day. Everywhere you go, the lights are as bright as daytime, and there are no windows open to the outdoors. Without looking at your watch, you cannot feel the passage of time or the changes in the sky outside. And inside, the last thing you know how to do is probably looking at your watch. In fact, it was already getting dark outside at this time, but Meng Ping and Lu Ligan felt that they had not been here long. If someone asked them what time it was at this time, they would probably say, maybe around 10 o'clock. When they got upstairs, they still chose to play baccarat, thinking that this was the only way to enjoy and stimulate them. The two of them sat down at the card table, and the two beauties sat quietly beside them. Of course, if you think there is fraud in it, or they could be asked to leave temporarily, but neither Meng Ping nor Lu Ligan did so. When he got here, Lu Ligan felt that his limelight and luck had come. He won 3 games in a row, winning back what the two people lost below. Lu Ligan was still waiting for the dealer to deal the cards, but the dealer stopped and looked behind them. The door behind them was pushed open and 2 burly men walked in. The dealer knew what was happening here and immediately stopped dealing cards. 2 burly men walked up behind Lu Ligan and Meng Ping, and one of them asked, "Are you Lu Ligan and Meng Ping?" Lu Ligan and Meng Ping nodded, thinking, why the hell did that scene in the story happen, but here, there is no machine that can be blown up. "Please come with us," said the other. "Why?" Lu Ligan asked. "Please come with us," the other party repeated. Their body shape, demeanor, and tone did not make it possible for you to refuse. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping stood up. 2 burly men, one in front and the other following them, walked into the corridor. Meng Ping asked Lu Ligan quietly, "Gangzi, are you cheating?" "No, what about you?" "Me neither." Meng Ping wanted to say something else, but the burly man following them coughed. This cough brought Meng Ping back to Tiger Bridge in an instant, and he felt like he was finished. Thank you to the 10,000 Years White Vote Party, ranked 3rd from top to bottom, and 131 on the shore for the reward. Thank you for your monthly votes for Why You Can't Change Your Name, Tianying 1978, Book Friends 201901042017583118, and Book Friends 12504. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 878. Hey, buddy, what's the matter with calling us? The four people got into the elevator. The elevator was very large and magnificent. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping stood on one side, and the two sturdy men stood on the other side. Meng Ping still couldn't hold back and asked the other party. The other party looked at them and shouted. Silent. Why, you don't understand Mandarin, Meng Ping asked next. What they just spoke to us was Mandarin, Lu Ligan said, and Meng Ping was right. When the two of us talk, are you afraid that we will collude in confession, Meng Ping asked. The other party still ignored them, and one of them pressed the elevator button on the 6th floor, which was also the highest floor of the hotel. The first and second floors of the hotel are casinos, the third floor is restaurants and entertainment venues, and the fourth and fifth floors are hotel rooms. Because the hotel covers a large area, there are more than 500 rooms on just 2 floors. The 6th floor of the hotel is what? Lu Ligan and Meng Ping looked at the introduction and knew that half of them were VIP suites. They would also transfer to this room next. They didn't know about the other half. Meng Ping said with a smile, it's probably Zizi Cave. We will be put on the tiger bench and given pepper water. Lu Ligan said that there is no need to indoctrinate people, I will recruit them right away. If there is no organization, I will make up an organization and provide it to them. The two of them were joking, but in fact they were still pretending to be relaxed. They felt uncomfortable in their hearts. After all, they were in this strange place, unfamiliar with the place, and Lao Chiao didn't know where he was. If something happened, he would really call Tian Tian. It should not be called that the earth is not working. Both of them were cursing Lao Chiao in their hearts. How the hell did they end up in this damn place? It was a casino. It should be a place with rules, and it wasn't a gangster. They were detained without doing anything. About the torture. The elevator door opened, and the two people breathed a sigh of relief. They saw that the outside of the elevator was also brightly lit and carpeted, no different from the elevator hall in the room below. The two people followed into the corridor. There was no difference between the corridor and the corridor below. The difference was that the corridor here was very short. Unlike the corridor below, it was long and winding around, like a maze. It seemed to be separated. There were no signs on the closed room doors on both sides. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping understood that this should be the office area of the casino. Two burly men took them to the top room, knocked on the door, and then opened the door. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan walked to the door, and their eyes were dazzled. Facing the door, there was a huge door. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, you can see the sea. On the sea, the morning sun is rising, dyeing the entire sea red. The two of them were shocked, and then they realized that it was already dawn outside. It turned out that they had been playing in the casino for such a long time. It really felt like 7 days in the mountains and 1,000 years outside. In front of the floor-to-ceiling window, with his back to them, there was a person standing against the light. Looking from them, the whole person was surrounded by a light edge, making it difficult to see clearly. Among them, a burly man walked a few steps forward and faced the figure behind him. Explain. Boss, we brought you. The man turned around. Holy shit. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping shouted almost at the same time. They saw Chen Qiang standing in front of the window. Chen Qiang waved his hand, and the two sturdy men smiled at Lu Ligan and Meng Ping, nodded and walked out. Chen Qiang clapped his hands and said with a smile, Pol, Lao Meng, are you scared? Meng Ping said, I was scared, I thought I was going to sit on the tiger bench. Lu Ligan said, I am ready to do anything. The two people asked in unison, Qiang, why are you here? Chen Qiang smiled and said, what should I do if I make a living? I can't survive in Hainan anymore. No, they just called you boss, Lu Ligan said. It's just a part-time job, not a boss, even though I have a little share, Chen Qiang said, I am the general manager here, so to them, I am the boss. No, no, Qiang, this is two twists and turns, you still have to tell me first, how did you get here? Meng Ping said. It's very simple. We returned to Guangzhou from Guizhou and had nothing to do. A cousin of mine works here. Lu Ligan remembered it and shouted, the one at Guangzhou railway station? I looked for him during the spring festival, but couldn't find him. My colleagues said he went to work in Macau. Yes, why are you looking for him? Chen Qiang was surprised at this moment. Buy a ticket. I'm looking for you to buy a ghost ticket. There's no humming news from you. How else can I find you besides looking for him? Lu Ligan said. I also want to hear from you, but who of you can get through? I wanted to find Zhang Chen, but even the phone number in Hangzhou was upgraded from 7 to 8 digits. I called 114 to inquire about half an acre of field, but I called him. What is the M-Zone sports goods market? What does Zhang Chen have to do with sports? I quickly hung up the phone. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan laughed, and Lu Ligan cursed, will you die if you ask more questions? If you keep asking, you will find out that the market also belongs to Zhang Chen. There is such a thing, Chen Qiang shouted angrily. Hey, you haven't said how you got here yet, Meng Ping shouted. The three of them all laughed and felt that there were too many questions to ask. They really didn't know where to start. Chen Qiang went on to say that he and Lin Yiyan returned to Guangzhou and had nothing to do. Yes, I want to call Lin Yiyan first and tell her that you are here, Chen Qiang shouted. Hey, can you finish the matter before we fight? No, we'll talk about it after we finish. Chen Qiang made a phone call as he spoke. Lu Ligan also remembered that he wanted to call Zhang Chen and tell him that he and Lao Meng had met in Macau. Meng Ping quickly stopped him and said, no, don't wait until we get back to give him a surprise. Lu Ligan thought it made sense and put his eldest brother down. There, Chen Qiang had already dialed Lin Yiyan and told her the matter. Lin Yiyan's scream came from the phone. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan hurried over. Everyone gathered around the phone and talked in a variety of ways. After talking on the phone and finally agreeing to have dinner together today, Lin Yiyan hung up the phone. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan stared at Chen Qiang. Chen Qiang understood. He quickly picked up the topic where he had left off and told them that his cousin called them and said it was a good place and asked them to come over. So they came over. When they first came, Chen Qiang said, waiter, Lin Yiyan is the dealer, the one who dealt the cards to you. It was also an accidental opportunity. The boss here, the real boss, discovered that Chen Qiang was not a simple person. He could not only speak Cantonese, but also Mandarin and English. So he became interested and checked his resume and found that he actually came from Peking University. Yes, I also served as the general manager of a company in Hainan. Macau casinos have seen an increasing number of guests from mainland China in recent years, accounting for more than half of them. The original general manager was a British man born in Hong Kong who could not even speak Mandarin. Moreover, with the return of Macau, as we get closer, there will definitely be more and more mainland guests here. Not only are there more and more customers, but there are also more and more demands for dealing with relevant departments and people in the mainland. The British man was very unsuitable in this situation. The casino owner wanted to cultivate Chen Qiang, so he first made him the public relations manager of the casino, responsible for receiving guests from the mainland. Chen Qiang did a very good job. Months ago, the boss replaced the Englishman with him. In their casino, the information of new VIP guests every day, especially those from the mainland, must be reported to Chen Qiang every day, and Chen Qiang has to read them one by one. This morning, Chen Qiang came to work and got the latest information. When he saw Meng Ping and Lu Ligan, he was startled and worried that there might be a mistake. He called up the surveillance of the private room they went to and confirmed that it was correct. It was them who asked people to go down and invite them up. Are you asking for a favor? Fortunately, I just finished the longest pee in my life, otherwise, you would scare me out of my pee, Mengping shouted. Chen Qiang said, it's a shame, the time is too short. If I had known this, I should have set up a room first, tortured you two, and made you two confess everything you have done in the past 2 years come out. I don't need to be tortured. I have a relatively clean history. I was in prison for 1.5 years. He is more complicated. Torture him, Mengping pointed at Lu Ligan and said to Chen Qiang. I don't need to. My history is also very clean, Lu Ligan said. Both of you are going to be tortured, Chen Qiang scolded. How did you come here? Is this a good place? What do you think will happen to the people who come here? Although I am just eating this bowl of rice, yes, but as a brother, when I see you here, I want to kick you twice. It's wrong, it's wrong. We really didn't come here on our own. We went to Zhuhai for a meeting and were dragged here. However, luckily we were dragged here. Otherwise, we wouldn't have met you, Mengping shouted. I'm worried about you, Chen Qiang said in a slower tone. Really, Pole, Lao Meng, not a brother, I will not poach myself, I have seen too much here. What kind of millionaires come here? You will still lose everything. I have never seen anyone who can make a fortune from this, especially those of you who are in real estate. What happened to the real estate business? Lu Ligan asked. People who are engaged in real estate have a strong gambling habit. I have seen several of them here in Shenzhen and Guangdong. They were engaged in real estate earlier than you. When they got here, they lost millions and tens of millions at a time without blinking an eye. What happened now? The debt collector we sent out to collect the debt came back and said that our family didn't even have the money to buy some rice to make porridge, and we didn't have any friends. Everyone was avoiding him like the god of plague. We who went to collect the debt couldn't stand it anymore, so we left 100 yuan for him. When he bought rice at home, he said bluntly, Lao Menzi, based on my understanding of you. Chen Qiang thought for a while and continued, with your two personalities, to put it bluntly, your gambling skills are no less than theirs. Real brothers, don't blame me for speaking harshly. No way, Qiang, how could we be so unbearable, Lu Ligan shouted. If it's Zhang Chen, I don't worry. He knows how to stop. But you two, I'm not sure. Really, one person can lose 100,000 yuan at the slot machine. Not many here. You guys are about to set a record. Then go down to the hall. One person lost another 100,000 yuan, and when he got upstairs, another person bought 1,000,000 yards, ready to come again. Chen Qiang looked at them and said, tell me honestly, if you lose the 2 million again, will you think this money is a lot of money? Will you just go back to your room to sleep, and go back to the mainland when you wake up, or will you wake up and continue gambling? Ganzi, Lao Meng, you guys tell me the truth. Mengping and Lu Ligan looked at each other and then at Chen Qiang. They felt that it was so damn hard to tell the truth. Thank you for your monthly pass. Thanks for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening, everyone. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Niang. Chapter 879. Chapter 879. Please, is it okay? It's already freezing cold in Hangzhou in December, but the climate in Macau is still pleasant, with temperatures in the teens and 20s even at night. When Mengping and Lu Ligan woke up, it was already evening, and they were woken up by Chen Qiang's phone call. They fought hard all night last night, and it was really hard for them. When they woke up today, they realized that they had back pain. Lu Ligan, I feel that this gambling is more difficult than picking up mud in the Gentian River for a day. Why bother? After losing money and being so tired, it seems that Chen Qiang was right, This gambling is really not a good thing. The four of them drove to a hotel on the beach and sat down at an open-air table. Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan often came here. When the hotel owner saw them, he greeted them in Cantonese from afar. After the four people sat down, the boss served them a frozen crab as big as a basketball. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan didn't eat anything after sleeping all day. They felt hungry, so they immediately broke off one each. A huge red flower crab claw started to be chewed. They finished eating a frozen crab like an apple, and then they felt better and could talk. Lin Yiyan and Chen Qiang laughed when they saw them eating with gusto. When they finished eating, Lin Yiyan asked if they wanted another one. No more, no more, if I eat any more, I won't be able to eat anything else, Meng Ping said. The four of them chatted while eating, and Meng Ping and Lu Ligan had a more detailed understanding of what happened to Chen Qiang and the others. After Chen Qiang and Li Yong went to Guizhou, they were imprisoned in a mine by the other party. They said they would not release them if they had no money. After Li Yong's uncle and Lin Yiyan went there, they were still imprisoned. They have been locked up there for more than 2 months. The people in Heiken Company have not received their wages for several months. Now they have not even heard from their boss. It is hopeless to wait any longer, so everyone disperses. How can the company? Everything they took was taken away, even the phone was taken away. If the security guards of Longja building hadn't stopped them, even the desks would have been moved away. The guy on the other side made a lot of money locally and borrowed it from every household. Before the money came out, those people went to the local Public Security Bureau. The Public Security Bureau determined that this was an illegal fundraising case and dispatched police to the mine. Caught the guy, only to find that there were still 4 people detained here, and another cause of illegal detention was added. Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan returned directly from Guizhou to Guangzhou, and then came to Macau. Li Yong went back to Guizhou and never came out again. Only Li Yong's uncle went to Heiken again, only to find that people from the company had gone upstairs. Kong, the property manager of Longja building, saw him and chased him for the unpaid utility bills. Where could he have the money to pay, so he left Heiken the next day. Li Yong did not leave Guizhou again, but returned to his hometown from the mine. At that time, it was rare for a college student in the county. When he came back, a student from Peking University was treated as a treasure, and he was immediately recruited to the county office as a secretary. Now he was the head of a township below. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan made an appointment with Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan, asking them not to tell Li Yong what happened to them. They were going to return to Hangzhou, so they immediately called Zhang Chen and went to Guizhou for a run. Go, look at Li Yong and give him a surprise. Is there any news about Lu Yun? Meng Ping asked. Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan both shook their heads. Chen Qiang asked, didn't you say she was in Nanjing? Lao Meng, you never met her in Nanjing? Meng Ping glanced at Lu Ligan, shook his head and said, Lu Yun is not in Nanjing. Qian Fang and Su Jiaking have already searched for golf courses near Nanjing. There is no such person at all. They have even gone to golf courses that are still under construction. Seen it already? Qian Fang and the others went to see Lu Yun. Why didn't I know? Hearing what Meng Ping said, even Lu Ligan was surprised and asked. Who are you, Lu Yun? Do they need to tell you? What will happen to you if they tell you? Meng Ping asked. That's right, Lin Yiyan said dissatisfiedly, I don't know what's going on in your mind. You don't even know how to cherish such a good person like Lu Yun. It's wrong, Lu Lipol clasped his hands and begged, she really wanted to leave on her own. That means she is disappointed in you. If not, would she still leave? Lin Yiyan said, and Lu Li stopped ringing his pole. Gangzi, what happened to you and Sun Ho and the others? Chen Qiang asked. Li Yong and I both felt that Sun Ho had done a terrible job in Hainan, and we have never contacted him again. It's okay, it's over. Last time when Zhang Chen and his Beijing store opened, we had dinner together. Let's just let it go, Lu Ligan said. Meng Ping hesitated for a while, but decided to speak out. He said, "Actually, Sun Ho, no matter what, he is in the work unit after all, and there are many things that he cannot decide. Moreover, his status as a young master usually brings a lot of convenience, but at that time, he is actually more powerful than us ordinary people. My hands and feet are tied and I can't do things according to my own temper." Chen Qiang nodded. Lao Meng is right. It doesn't matter if we lose face. If he loses face or makes a mistake, he will lose the face of his family. If he makes a mistake, the whole family will be implicated. Maybe it will become a political enemy and an excuse to attack his old man, Meng Ping said. Lu Ligan smiled. Anyway, I already don't think about it. Gangzi, you really haven't thought about why those units that were so difficult to deal with suddenly made a 180-degree turn when your Genshin and river improvement plan started, Meng Ping asked. That should be the result of Lu Qinchin's work. Lu Ligan said and looked at Meng Ping. Meng Ping smiled and shook his head slightly. No, Lu Ligan asked. Zhang Chen went to Beijing and looked for Sun Ho. The original words of Sun Ho and Huang Jianren were that we helped Gangzi do this and we owed him, Meng Ping said. When Meng Ping said this, both Chen Qiang and his wife and Lu Ligan fell silent. After a while, Lu Ligan cursed, Zhang Chen didn't even tell me. Sun Ho asked him not to tell you, Meng Ping said. Everyone continued to be silent. The gentle sea breeze was blowing, and it was a bit cool. Lin Yiyan asked Meng Ping and Lu Ligan, are you cold? Lu Ligan smiled and said, we came here from a world of ice and snow. Lin Yiyan also smiled, for us, the coldest season of the year has arrived. She picked up a woolen cardigan, put it on her body, and said to herself, why does this person have to grow up? It seems that the older he grows, the more complicated it becomes. How good it is when he is studying, everyone is carefree, and you can talk about anything openly, and once you've said it, everything will be business as usual. Lin Yiyan said, and the three men all laughed. Lin Yiyan looked at Lu Ligan and Meng Ping and said, don't laugh. You are not allowed to laugh. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping were puzzled, why are we not allowed to laugh? Qiang told me everything you did in the casino, Lin Yiyan said. Lin Yiyan said, looked around, and then took out a new deck of playing cards from the bag and asked Lu Li to open it. Lu Li opened it. Lin Yiyan said, shuffle the cards. Lu Li's wand shuffled the cards and handed them to Lin Yiyan. Lin Yiyan took them in his hand, put the cards on the table, cut them 3 times, and then turned them out one by one while talking. Club 3, Heart 9, Diamond 4, Club 7. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping were stunned. They saw that every card Lin Yiyan turned over was exactly the same as what she said. This was amazing. Lin Yiyan, how did you do it? Lu Ligan shouted. Lin Yiyan looked around again, immediately put away the cards, and said with a smile, I can't tell you how I did it, Pole. I'm just asking you, if you meet me, do you have a chance to win? Lu Ligan and Meng Ping shook their heads repeatedly. If you are in the casino and you win consecutively, you will see that the croupier will definitely change. Do you know why? Lin Yiyan said. Chen Qiang said to the two of them, Yiyan is the ace dealer of our casino, the housekeeper. Every casino has such a dealer. Lin Yiyan said to them, let me tell you again, even the odds of the slot machine can be adjusted. Generally speaking, when there are many customers, we will lower the odds. When there are few customers, we will adjust the odds. The odds are adjusted higher to attract guests. Lin Yiyan looked at her hands, rubbed them together, and said to Meng Ping and Lu Ligan, her voice a little helpless and sad. My hands, sometimes I hate looking at them. It can be said that they are stained with blood. They have ruined countless lives. Lao Meng and Ganzi, I don't want you to die by such hands one day. Even if I'm begging you. After eating, the 4 of them walked on the beach. Chen Qiang drove Lu Ligan and the others to see the night view of Macau. The roads in Macau were very narrow, but there were very few cars. Lin Yiyan told them that apart from the casinos, there is really no place to go in Macau. All the excitement is in the casinos, the most beautiful women, the most delicious food, the most money, and the most greedy human nature. The casino is really the best place to bury a man, Lin Yiyan concluded. Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan sent Meng Ping and Lu Ligan to the door of the hotel. They did not get out of the car and asked Lu Ligan and Meng Ping to go back to their rooms and go to bed early. They would come and have breakfast with them tomorrow. Lu Ligan asked, "You don't go to work?" Chen Qiang said, "No, we will only call us when there is something urgent. Hurry up and go upstairs. I'd rather you play with women upstairs than come down. Do you understand?" Lin Yiyan and Meng Ping Lu Ligan said. The two men nodded. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping walked into the hotel. Chen Qiang started the car, drove out of the gate, walked around to the side of the hotel, returned to the hotel from another entrance and exit, drove the car to the underground parking lot, and the two got out of the car. After taking the elevator to the 6th floor and going to Chen Qiang's office, Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan said, "You go keep an eye on the surveillance camera, and I'll make coffee." Chen Qiang made coffee, took 2 cups, poured it, and walked to the next room with the coffee. Lin Yiyan stood in front of the monitor on that wall. Chen Qiang asked, "Did you see it?" "Not yet." Lin Yiyan shook her head. Chen Qiang walked over and handed a cup of coffee to Lin Yiyan, and the two stood side by side. They have seen too many gamblers and understand the psychology of gamblers too well. In the past, they were often proud of this, but today, they hope they are wrong. The two of them stood in front of the monitor for more than 10 minutes. "Holy shit," Chen Qiang suddenly shouted, almost spilling the coffee in his hand. "Oh, it's hopeless," Lin Yiyan shouted in pain. They saw Lu Ligan and Meng Ping coming out of the elevator on the 2nd floor. "Thank you to Dal Tin Soldier and Riri Shushu for the reward. Thank you to the Dingli Blade of the Country and Chuanlin for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health." The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 880. After Lu Ligan and Meng Ping said goodbye to Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan, they returned to the room. Lu Ligan stood in front of the window for a while, thinking about how to spend the next night, or to talk to Lin Yiyan after taking a shower. Like that, asking a woman to come up and kill time? I think so in my heart, but I always feel itchy somewhere, as if I am uneasy, and I seem to be a little unmotivated. The women here are indeed very beautiful, but just thinking about these beautiful women makes me feel uncomfortable. People feel a little empty, a little so uninspired. Why do women seem to lose value so quickly in casinos? The doorbell rang. Lu Ligan walked over and opened the door. Meng Ping stood at the door. Meng Ping looked at Lu Ligan and smiled sheepishly. He said, "What should I do with the chips?" That's right, Lu Ligan thought that he still had chips, and Lu Ligan said, "Then go back." Meng Ping said yes. Lu Ligan took the chips and went out. The corridor outside was long and winding. He didn't know if it was just to give people time to fight their thoughts. When the two of them were halfway there, Meng Ping said that it would be troublesome to retreat. In fact, it was not troublesome at all, but when Meng Ping said this, Lu Ligan also felt it was troublesome, and he said yes. "How about we go and have fun?" Meng Ping asked tentatively. "Go and have fun?" Lu Ligan asked tentatively. Both of them seemed to be startled and stopped in the corridor. Meng Ping said, "Then Chen Qiang." "Isn't Qiang off work?" Lu Ligan said. The two of them burst into laughter. Lu Ligan felt like he was back in his childhood. At noon in the summer, he secretly carried his family and teacher to the river to play in the water. After playing, the teacher would check if he had gone swimming when he got to school. When they scratch their thighs with their hands, there will be clear white scratch marks. They will first go to the sand pit and rub their thighs with sand so that they cannot be detected. They entered the elevator and went to the third floor first, as if they were looking for a woman. Then both of them said they were a little tired and felt that the faces were boring. They returned to the elevator and Lu Ligan staring at the camera in the elevator, blocking it intentionally or unintentionally. Meng Ping pressed 2. They themselves didn't know why they did this, although they knew in their hearts that if Qiang was watching, he would definitely be able to see them, and it would be futile, but they just did it, as if they were doing bad things behind the back of an adult. Kids, there's always going to be some stupid cover-up. After getting out of the elevator on the second floor, the two of them sat on the sofa in the rest area. They were feeling uneasy. No one said anything, but what they were thinking in their hearts was that if Qiang saw them, he would definitely go down to the second floor. Lu, if they see them here, they can confidently tell him that they are here to cancel the code. The two of them were sitting there, taking out cigarettes and smoking them. They became nervous inexplicably. When Lu Ligan took out his lighter and lit Meng Ping's cigarette, he found that his hands were shaking a little. When Meng Ping came over, he also a little trembling. Neither of the two people spoke, knowing in their hearts that if they spoke at this time, their voices would probably tremble. What the hell is going on? They're betting on whether we're still around or not. Lin Yiyan was about to cry. When she saw Lu Ligan and Meng Ping sitting down, she raised her head and looked around subconsciously, looking for the camera. Chen Qiang sighed and said, "These two guys are still the same two guys I know. They haven't changed at all. How could it change? These two guys seem to be successful in their careers now and have made some money. Chen Qiang has seen too many people like this. They are arrogant when they come in, and they are like dogs when they lose nothing." The thighs holding the croupier collapsed. If you agree to give him credit and let him chew a bone left by others, he will definitely chew it with relish. The richer people are, the more they will reveal their true colors when they get here. They are the most unlucky ones. Those who suddenly become rich, those so-called successful people, accidentally stand at the forefront of the times and are blown up by the wind. They will be blindly arrogant and forgetful about themselves, thinking that they are superior to others in everything and that all luck should be monopolized by themselves. Even when they go to the casino, they think that they are the one who deserves to win the most. How can they lose to others? When they win, they will subconsciously think, "Look, it's true, I want the winner to take all." When he loses, he will subconsciously think, "What is it? It is just an accidental mistake." Napoleon and Waterloo. When his Waterloo made him lose all the money he brought, arrogance came again. "What's the matter? I can afford to lose. If I lose this time, I will get it back next time." Victory and defeat are common things in military affairs. What they are least willing to admit is that you are actually a mediocre person. When you get here, your IQ is about the same as that of an idiot. The more times you come, the more times you will lose. This is what they are least willing to admit. Fact. "How are you going?" Lin Yiyan asked. Chen Qiang shook his head, "It's useless. Let's see the results and see when they will stop." Chen Qiang pulled out 2 chairs and the two of them sat down. It looked like they were going to sit in front of the monitor all night today. After Meng Ping and Lu Ligang finished smoking 2 cigarettes, they both thought that if Chen Qiang was still here, it would be time to come down. It seemed that he and Lin Yiyan had really gone back. Meng Ping and Lu Ligan stood up, smiled at each other, and then walked towards the private room. The two of them played until more than 1 o'clock. Chen Qiang stared at the expressions of Lu Ligan and Meng Ping. He told Lin Yiyan that it was about to start. Lu Ligan, who was sitting at the card table, probably felt that he had figured out the rules. Until now, not only had he not lost, but he had also won a little bit. He thought, in this baccarat, there are banker and player. The possibility is nothing more than 50% each. He immediately thought of a strategy. He decided to keep pressing the banker. The first hand was 10,000, the second was 20,000, the third was 40,000, and the fourth was 10,000. If you keep pressing like this, you will definitely win stupidly. Unexpectedly, 5 hands were played in a row, and they were all idle. At the beginning of the 6th hand, everyone else stopped and looked at him alone, and they were still idle. By the 7th hand, he had already lost all his chips. If you can't raise 640,000 yuan, you need to get chips from Meng Ping. Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan said, "Hurry up and change your clothes. When they finish losing, you go in and change people. Otherwise, these two guys won't have 2 million chips if they change again." Lin Yiyan said yes and walked out quickly. Everyone else in the private room stood up and looked at them. When the 7th hand came out and it was still idle, everyone felt incredible. At this time, Lin Yiyan's voice came from the dealer's headset. Just as she was about to stand up, Meng Ping sat down opposite her, pointed at her and said, "You are not allowed to change." In the 8th hand, Meng Ping put all his chips on player. As a result, 7 consecutive players came out, and this hand was banker. When Lu Ligan and Meng Ping were about to take out their bank cards and ask the waiter to change chips for them, Lin Yiyan was already wearing work clothes and walked behind the dealer. When Lu Ligan and Meng Ping saw Lin Yiyan, they quickly got up and ran away as if they had seen a ghost. The other gamblers were surprised and didn't know what was going on. When Lu Ligan and Meng Ping saw Lin Yiyan wearing work clothes, they also knew that it was not convenient to say hello at this time, so they escaped inexplicably. The two of them laughed all the way. They were still laughing when they entered the elevator, and they were still laughing when they entered the corridor. They laughed all the way to the door of Lu Ligan's room. Lu Ligan opened the door. The two of them couldn't laugh anymore. They saw Chen Qiang sitting there. In. The two people walked in and stood there like elementary school students who had made a mistake, laughing sheepishly. Chen Qiang looked at them and said, "Is it funny? What I saw was not two brothers, but two bad gamblers." Chen Qiang cursed. He took out a POS machine from the sofa next to him and slapped it on the coffee table in front of him. Lu Ligan and Meng Ping looked at him, wondering what he was going to do. Chen Qiang stretched out his hand and kept waving it. Lu Ligan asked, "Qiang, what are you doing? Give me your bank card, and I will swipe 2 amounts of money first and save it for you. I'm worried that you will soon not even have money to buy rice for cooking porridge," Chen Qiang said. Lu Ligan chuckled, "When that day comes, will you set sail and watch us starve to death?" "Yes," Chen Qiang said, "when my brother is in trouble, I can give him all I have, but if he is a bad gambler, I won't give him a damn penny." "No, no, let's set sail," Meng Ping said quickly. "We are really planning to go back and cancel the code. Thinking about the trouble of canceling the code, we just thought, we don't have much money, and we will lose it after losing." Chen Qiang stared at Meng Ping, frowned and asked, "Lao Meng, how long have we known each other? When have you, Lao Meng, not been a person who always tells the truth? Just because of today's incident, this is the first time that I, Chen Qiang, have heard you, Lao Meng, lie. Do you think it's worth it? Even if you can deceive others, you can deceive others. Can you deceive yourself? Even if you can deceive yourself, can you deceive the surveillance system? You sat there and smoked 2 cigarettes. Lin Yiyan and I kept looking at you. We really hope that after you finish smoking, you can wake up a little and stand up and go back to the room. How many chips can be exchanged for the time of 2 cigarettes? Can't finish the change? If Lin Yiyan didn't go down just now, would you two stop?" Lu Ligan and Meng Ping both blushed at what Chen Qiang said. Chen Qiang shook his head and continued. "Why did I say that what I saw was not brothers, but 2 bad gamblers? Because I know very well how this place will change people. You just now were not the Pole and Lao Meng I saw. The Lao Meng I knew. Meng is a daring person, and he will not speak so freely. Okay, Qiang, stop talking, I'm so embarrassed. Meng Ping said, he was also shocked in his heart. Indeed, Qiang was right. When did he become like this? He talks nonsense just for trivial matters. It seems that this ghost place can really change people. Meng Ping, it felt like he almost didn't recognize himself. The doorbell rang, and Lu Ligan walked over and opened the door. It was Lin Yiyan. Lin Yiyan told them that she had bought their tickets back to Hangzhou in the morning. Go on, go see Li Yong and see the place where Li Yong is. You will probably understand a little bit, Chen Qiang said to them. After breakfast in the morning, Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan took them to the airport. At the airport, Chen Qiang said, if you come to Macau again, you can come to us and eat frozen crabs, but if you still come to the casino, I, Chen Qiang, will definitely go with you. Fall out, don't take chances, I will know as soon as you enter the country, even if you don't go to our hotel. The four people hugged each other goodbye at the airport. Chen Qiang and Lin Yiyan watched Lu Ligan and Meng Ping pass the security check before turning back. Do you think they will still be the same as those people? Lin Yiyan asked. Chen Qiang sighed and said, I really don't know about this. Character determines destiny. Brothers can take care of them for a while, but they can't take care of them forever. When the day comes, be prepared to give them food money every day. Thanks to Yuengzi, third from top to bottom, and 131 on the shore for the tip. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life.